We would like to formally introduce ourselves as CASHU, the Collaborative Association for Social Health and Education Awareness, where our vision statement is to ensure a brighter future for countries in the developing world. We believe we deserve the $1 billion grant from the Luna Foundation because when we see a need for change, we know how to get in and get the job done. As our mission statement highlights health, education, economics, and governmental issues, we chose Liberia due to the crisis that we see occurring there. To get a better look at the crippling issues at hand, we decided to do an exclusive interview with a doctor who spent weeks working in the JFK hospital in Liberia amid the Ebola crisis. Not only did he see firsthand the unstable health system, but he also observed many issues in Liberia regarding the education system and the governmental infrastructure in general. We asked him to lay out what he thought the primary issues were in these realms, and these are the responses of Dr. Antonio J. Webb, MD, an orthopedic surgery resident at the University of Texas Health Science Center at San Antonio, Texas.
I think the main problems with their healthcare system is the lack of supplies, like gloves and gowns, some of the protective equipment that we have here in the U.S. that was not really available. I would say that one of the biggest problems is patients waiting too long to come in to get seen. So by the time that they came and saw me in clinic while I was there, their conditions had spread. But I think if you start educating some of the younger kids while they're in school, so they can go home and teach their parents, they can teach their mom, their dad, this is what we need to look out for, and this is the conditions that we need to go to the hospital for. So I think a lot of patients actually wait too long to get seen. And for the economic government infrastructure, I think it's rebuilding, especially after the 90s Civil War. I could tell that they were kind of on the verge of recovery just by the landscape, by the people, by the facilities. There are a lot of places that were still destroyed by the war, including the hospital. But I think Liberia has a long way to go. I think the Ebola virus just made it a little bit harder to recover from the Civil War. Thank you for the question. That's a good question.
Liberia lost a lot of its health infrastructure during the Civil War, so what we want to do is be able to rebuild a lot of that by putting health centers in rural areas. The other issue we face is a high maternal mortality rate, so part of this health infrastructure, we really need to train more midwives and nurses to be able to take care of these women so that they can give birth. Right now they only have 300 midwives, and the country is estimated to need 1,400, so women are giving birth in dirty areas, and that's why they're having a lot of issues in the high infant mortality rate. We also want to focus a little bit on the psychological issues that the country is facing because that's not being addressed. So we'd like to bring in psychologists and counselors to help women. A lot of people are still having PTSD from the previous wars.
In many developing countries, a lack of funding can cause there to be an ineffective healthcare system. Because of this, there may be risks with CASHU's health program. We may face some sources of corruption. We do not want our employees and midwives to abuse their power and access to medical equipment. In order to ensure that that does not happen, we will be conducting randomized inspections and follow-ups. Additionally, we will give each of our employees free training that will mandate a year of service in a government institution of our choice.
After 14 years of civil war left the country devastated, the education system was amongst the hardest sectors hit. We at CASHU see the need for education reform and for more dedicated teachers to encourage student enrollment. These issues also include a lack of quality and dedicated teachers, low enrollment numbers, and the lack of a standardized and quality education. Our plan is to implement programs that train teachers and to create incentives to get more people interested in teacher training programs. These incentives would include free education and even monetary payment on a case-by-case basis as we see progress being made. We would also create a more fluid and consistent standardized curriculum that levels the playing field for all of the students. We want both girls and boys to have the chance to attend school regardless of work obligations. Lastly, we have risk and mitigation measures in place to hold teachers accountable and to ensure that there is no abuse of the new system. We can combat any mishaps, and we want both students and teachers to benefit from this plan that will create a comprehensive, productive, and self-sufficient education system.
Our third component will deal with Liberia's economy, which was decimated after the Civil War and no longer has a viable business sector. Today, most businesses in Liberia are owned by large, multinational corporations, a trend which this plan works to reverse. We will create a system of microcredit to provide loans to entrepreneurial Liberians. Individuals will submit an application to a cashew committee of business experts, including a detailed business plan with a financial breakdown. The committee evaluates the business plan's viability and creates a risk assessment. Applicants will be either approved or rejected. Once approved, the size of their initial loan will be based upon the committee's risk assessment and their financial need. In order to mitigate the risk of the company failing, our business experts will provide consulting services to the company owners as they start their businesses. Once the company reaches 3 times the size of the initial loan in yearly revenue, the company must then reinvest an amount equal to their initial loan back into another Liberian company starting or in its infancy, with the option of payment installation available. This system will encourage Liberians to reinvest in national companies, creating a sense of responsibility and increasing nationalism. This system of reinvestment will foster innovation and growth in the Liberian business sector, thus stimulating the economy and creating a system that becomes self-sufficient and will continue to expand well into the future, leading to an overall growth in development.
Here's our itemized budget for how we would use the $1 billion from the Luna Foundation. 35% will go to the microloan system, 30% will go to the rural health clinics, 25% will go to mental health programs, and 10% will go to education incentive programs. We believe that working towards Cashew's specific goals of building health infrastructure, increasing and improving education, and developing the economy and business sector will help Liberia to continue to grow and improve. By addressing these foundational problems, we believe the effects will be felt across a much wider range of issues, leading to widespread development.